Christmas time on the Rhine River in Europe.
Hi, I'm Jody.
And I'm Kelly.
And we're
JK Cruising.
As we get into Amsterdam, not only will you see the some of the river tour and some of the canals and stuff they have in Amsterdam, we'll also see the diamond factory. So all you ladies that like diamonds, and I don't know any that don't, we're going to get to go to the diamond factory and see how they polish the diamonds, and that's quite a treat. So that's pretty cool. There's simply no shortage of Christmas marts in any of these places you go, but as we said in our first video, remember, if you see something that you never knew you needed, that you always had to have, you need to buy it when you see it. Chances are you simply won't have the time to make it back around to these places a second time. They're so spread out within the city that you might visit one Christmas mart a half a mile from another one, and so because of that you might forget where you saw that piece at that you really liked, and you liked that one and you thought you were going to find something better a little along the way. You might find something better, but chances are you'll be like us and you'll find yourselves at the end of the tour with a bunch of gingerbread and only a few pieces of stuff to take back to family for Christmas. So be sure, so we had to double back and sort of really rush it and sort of run through the city to get back to the marts that we wanted to go to. So if you see something, like I said, that you never knew you needed but always had to have, now is the time to get it while you're right in front of it. Negotiate your price there with them. Some of these places negotiate, some don't. And get it while you're there, while it's right in front of you. That way you don't have to worry about doubling back and running through the city like we did to try and get to some of the places we wanted to go back to get some of those pieces that we always had to have and never knew we needed them. Alright guys, enjoy. The reason we had to sort of hightail it a couple of times was because we didn't remember what mart we saw it at, and we literally had to sort of go to all of them again to find out which one it was and cover the entire Christmas mart at that time. So another trick or tip might be drop a pin. If you see something on your Google Maps or something like that, drop a pin at the place that you find that one thing that you need to have. Drop a pin on your Google Maps or something like that, or mark it as the place you parked or whatever. That way, if you want to go, you can go directly back to that one place. You will not go hungry at any of these Christmas marts or lacking for Glühwein. On every corner, there's something to eat. We need to go down that middle, see if we can see something, and then we can go down the far side. A lot of good luck there. There's a lot of horseshoe sort of luckiness going around in the world today, and there's a lot of superstitions that are still practiced throughout the world. But fundamentally, a horseshoe turned with the U sort of facing up is supposed to capture good luck, and the horseshoe turned upside down is one of two things. It either means it's bad luck, or it means that the luck that was captured in the other part of the horseshoes, if you have them around your house turned upwards, is allowed to flow out and surround your entire home, and your home is covered with good luck. Some other quick tips about good luck is at a wedding, you should always have the groom should always have a good luck charm, a horseshoe in his pocket. And on New Year's Day, I hope you slept with the horseshoe under your pillow. That way, the entire new year can bring in a prosperous new year for you. You're going to see candy makers, you're going to see chocolatiers, you're going to see pretzel makers. I mean, just about anything you want, from bratwurst to fireworks, sausages. Fireworks, by the way, are spicy, and bratwurst are pork, in case you didn't know that. But you'll have all sort of pastries and German candies and sweets and breads and just all sorts of things while you're here. In addition to all of the cute little related stuff.
Chocolate covered strawberries.
It's just a really good time to go to the this time of year. It's a special thing that only happens one time a year, from basically the end of November through December. Okay, by the time we got to Cologne, we were wiped out, and we didn't get a lot of time in Cologne just simply because we were tired. And so we spent most of the day on board, but we did get out and see a few things here, and we were Christmas smarted out by this point. So we're going to jump through some of the pictures and some of the video we have here, and then head up. And during the day, we had talks about the origin of Christmas from this gentleman who was a PhD in Germany, and so we should listen to this.
We will see how they originated and developed, and we will also learn how seemingly very old traditions are sometimes surprisingly very young, sometimes only maybe 150 years old. And of course also we will explore the role of the Christmas markets, like the famous one in Strasbourg or the Christkindl market in Nuremberg, which, different to many other customs, sometimes date back centuries, in many cases even back to the Middle Ages. And towards the end of the talk, I will also outline that there's an ongoing debate on the question if and how Christmas could become more authentic again. I will talk for roughly 35 minutes, I think. Should you have any questions afterwards, I hope we will have a little time to cover them also, because I have to jump off the ship in zones. And of course, I don't want to swim all the way back to pick up my car in Cologne, so I hope you forgive me that. Before I start, just to give you some brief information on my personal background. My name is Sven Matthiesen, I'm an historian. I used to teach at the University of Heidelberg for a couple of years, and I received my PhD from the University of Sheffield in the UK and to Hockey University in Sendai, Japan. Oh yeah, thank you. I always try to give my best also when it comes to my outfit, especially when it's Christmas time. Where was I? Okay. The name Christmas originates from the Old English term Christus Mies, which means Mass of Christ, and an abbreviation, of course, often used today for Christmas is Xmas, and X relates to the Greek letter Chi, which in Christian iconography stands for Christ. The first time that this abbreviation Xmas was used was in 1551 when King Edward VI stated that everyone attending Mass on that evening should do this on foot. The fact that we celebrate Christmas on the night from 24th to 25th December as the birth of Christ has its roots in pre-Christian times, and it has always been close to winter solstice, the longest night of the year, which is usually 21st or 22nd of December. In many ancient cultures, this date already has played an important role before Christianity, as it symbolizes deepest darkness and the beginning of a new life circle at the same time. In the old mystery religion of ancient Rome, founded in Asia Minor, so what today is Turkey, and focused on the god Mithras, this day was celebrated as the birth of the god of light, and in an even earlier period in ancient Egypt, the birth of the sun god Horus was celebrated on the same day. The Germanic tribes celebrated winter solstice as Yule time, when the days were getting long and darkness was eventually ending. The metaphor of light then later was projected on Jesus Christ as the light of the world. The first Christmas celebrations took place in Rome in the mid-4th century, and choosing the 25th of December as Christ's birthday caused quite some controversy among the early Christian community, as it uses the solar calendar for orientation and not the lunar calendar, after which the Christian year is organized until today, with Easter taking place on the first Sunday after the first full moon in spring. For many early Christians, the celebration of Epiphany on the 6th of January, commemorating the baptism of Jesus, which actually proved that he was the Son of God, remained the more popular date, or the more important event. And during the Christianization period, then many pagan rituals were integrated into the church's own belief system. So during the early Christmas celebrations, we find pagan rituals like bonfires or processions to drive out evil spirits. The Reformation then ended many of these rituals in the first half of the 16th century, and in the area that today is Germany, the custom of celebrating Christmas on the 25th of December was established during the 7th and 8th century. In this era, the 25th of December also got established as a popular coronation day among European emperors and kings. And the first in a long row here who was crowned on that day was the Emperor Charlemagne, or Charles the Great, who received his crown from Pope Leo III in Rome in the year 800 AD. More than 250 years later, William the Conqueror was crowned King of England on that day, on the 25th of December in 1066. For a long time, this day also was celebrated as the beginning of the new year in England, Spain, and many German-speaking territories, and with the introduction then of the Gregorian calendar, this tradition came to an end. And this calendar reform had become necessary as the old calendar introduced by Julius Caesar already in the year 45 BC was simply not accurate enough. Even though the Julian calendar comprised 12 months with 365 days and even had a leap day every 4 years, its year was overall 11 minutes and 14 seconds longer than it actually takes the Earth to circle around the Sun. In the beginning, of course, these caused no major problems. However, in the 14th century, this mistake had accumulated already to 7 days. So therefore, under Pope Gregory XIII, the calendar was reformed in 1582, and as a result, many Catholic regions switched directly from the 4th of October to the 15th of October in that year, so 10 days were simply omitted. As when all regions adopted the new calendar right away, this led to the phenomenon that, for example, in some Dutch regions, the day following the 14th of December in 1582 became the 25th of December, so Christmas Eve was cancelled in that year in 1582. England and its colonies then switched to the new calendar in 1752, and even until today, Russian, Gregorian, Macedonian, Serbian, and also Ukrainian parts of the Orthodox Church still celebrate according to the old calendar on the 6th of January in our modern system. So, in the first part of this talk, I tried to show that some origins of Christmas go back a very long time in history, or early periods of human civilizations. On the other hand, then seemingly old traditions are sometimes surprisingly very young, sometimes only maybe 150 years old. And this is especially true for the arguably most iconic ornament of our modern Christmas today, and that is, of course, the Christmas tree. An evergreen tree, maybe lit up by candles, symbolizes the persistence of life beyond the individual year with its 4 seasons. Especially during European winters, which used to be characterized by very low temperatures with a lot of snowfall and only short hours of daylight, a tree not losing its needles meant living proof that man and nature were able to survive even the most hostile conditions. The custom of having an evergreen tree in people's houses probably reaches back a very long time in history. However, the first scattered examples of written evidence of such a tradition date back only to the 16th and 17th century, when, for example, in the then German city of Strasbourg, wealthy families decorated their homes with such a tree before Christmas. This was back then criticized as pagan and unchristian by the clergy, and in the 18th century then the tree became a common accessory, but even then it remained a privilege for the rather wealthy classes, as fir and other coniferous trees were rather rare and very expensive in Western and Central Europe at that time. The Christian church only got slowly acquainted to this custom, and the first to adopt it were the Protestants in the 19th century, when the Christmas tree had become part of a proper Lutheran Christmas. The Catholic Church only followed a little bit later, when the tree simply had become too popular to be excluded from the festivities. Since 1824, there's even a Christmas carol around the Christmas tree, or Tannenbaum, or Christmas tree, which is still among the most popular Christmas carols around the world, until today. In countries around the world, the Christmas tree seems to be a rather young tradition, and it seems to be an adoption from Germany. In Great Britain, for example, the marriage of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert of Saxon-Coburg and Gotha fostered the acceptance of the tree in the 1840s. And in New England, the German-American scientist Carl Follen of Harvard University is considered to be the first person to have had such a tree in his house in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Today in Germany, an estimated 28 million trees are sold every year in December, the main supplier here being Denmark, followed by various German regions. Almost all trees nowadays come from farms where they are cultivated for 8 to 12 years and harvested in an ecologically neutral way, as they are all replaced in the long run. However, still environmentalists are critical about the intensive monocultures, which have a negative impact on biodiversity in the long run. Still, however, most people prefer natural trees over artificial ones, and this is also true often for the lighting. So in many households, people will favor real candles often made of beeswax over artificial ones. However, so much love for authenticity sometimes also comes with danger. And even though often a bucket of water or even a fire extinguisher is placed next to the tree, quite often the fire brigade has to take care of incidents involving dry fir trees and real candles throughout the season. The probably most youngest tradition is to set up or to erect large Christmas trees in public spaces, like for example, public places like for example Rockefeller Center in New York, or also in Germany, as for example in Frankfurt at the Römerberg near the main market square. The ornaments used for the tree have changed through the course of time. Originally, most ornaments were produced at home, apples and sweets in the beginning, and later also gilded nuts and ornaments of dough or wax became popular. A glass blower from Thuringia in eastern Germany crafted the first glass baubles in the mid-19th century, and not much later, in 1880, they were sold all across the United States by Woolworth. Another common decoration has always been tinsel, known since the 17th century, or lametta, long narrow metal stripes symbolizing icicles. They are produced in large quantities in the Nuremberg region in southern Germany, And today a huge variety of ornaments, styles and colors are available, and probably the most or best known supplier here is the Käthe Wohlfahrt company based in Rothenburg ob der Tauber in southern Germany. In many houses, especially the Catholic ones, a nativity scene is decorated right under the Christmas tree, and before the tree itself was introduced, the nativity scene was the central aspect, or the central part of the Christmas decoration. Of course, music and songs play an essential role in the Christmas celebrations too, as they underline its solemn and at the same time joyful atmosphere. In almost every German Christmas Mass, Silent Night is played and sung at the end with a light dimmed, so that the Christmas tree in the church with its candles shines even brighter. And that is the moment that even the regular churchgoer has been waiting for. And sometimes you can even see tears in the eyes of those who usually do not care too much about the festivities. Silent Night is not only the most famous Christmas carol in German language, but it was also translated into more than 300 languages and dialects, and is now among the best known Christmas songs all around the world. There are many tales and legends around its creation, but what we know for sure is that it was first presented in 1818 in the small village Oberndorf near Salzburg in Austria. The lyrics were written down by the assistant priest Josef Mohr, and the melody was added by the village teacher and church organ player Franz Xaver Gruber. And according to the most common story, the peaceful character of the song was underlined by the fact that back then it was accompanied by a guitar alone, as the little church organ did not work at a Christmas Mass in 1818. So the song might have never made its way out of this rather remote area in Austria, but in 1833 it got selected for a presentation of Tyrolean songs for a concert in Leipzig in East Germany, and its great success there then led to its widespread use, first in German-speaking regions and then soon all across Europe. So equally important as Christmas itself are of course the weeks leading there, and Adventus is the Latin word for arrival, and this originally referred to the 40-day period before Christmas, which originally required believers to fasting, similar to the 40-day period before Easter. However, not many people in Germany still obey this tradition. However, a special Christmas Bockbier with a very high alcohol content is still pointing back to this tradition. So originally, when people could not eat, as a substitute, they were drinking this strong beer, which probably got them through this difficult period. It is highly recommended. And around the 1st of May, so shortly after Easter, we have another tradition. It's a special Maibock beer, which is also very strong and very good. Originally, Advent began on the 11th of November, and until today the celebration of St. Martin's Day, especially the Catholic part of the country, take place on that day. The legend portrays Martin of Tours as a very merciful man who was drafted into the Roman army against his own will. Then he became an officer of the Horse Guards in Amiens in France, and one day when he was riding along on his horse on a cold winter day, he saw a freezing beggar on the street who was ignored by the people passing by. So what Martin did was he took off his own coat and cut it into two pieces with a sword to share it with the poor man. So the following night, Jesus appeared to him in a dream, and Martin then decided to quit the military and become Bishop of Tours. To commemorate him, children nowadays craft little lanterns, which they present in small St. Martin's parades on the 11th of November. However, Advent itself is nowadays usually limited to the 4 weeks before Christmas, and this is seen as a time to prepare cookies and decorations, but also, of course, to do a lot of shopping. And this is also the reason why originally most German Christmas markets only last 4 weeks. However, nowadays, also probably due to the effects of the corona pandemic, the running time of many Christmas markets has been extended. So some of them, they started already in mid-November, like for example the one in Koblenz, and they last until maybe mid-January. Sometimes they call them also winter markets because of that. In many houses, Advent is marked by a special Advent wreath consisting of 4 branches and 4 candles, which symbolizes the period of waiting. So each Sunday a new candle is lit to show the approach of Christmas Eve. This tradition also looks very basic and old, but in fact is even younger than that of the Christmas tree. It was only in 1839 that the Lutheran priest Johann Hinrich Wichern of Hamburg created the first wreath of this kind to please the children at his local orphanage in Hamburg, who were constantly asking when it would be finally Christmas Day. So for this purpose, he used the wheel of an old horse carriage, and he used 1 candle for each day and 4 larger candles for the 4 Sundays before Christmas. Today, however, only the 4 candle version with 4 branches is common. Nevertheless, the idea of creating a countdown, especially for the children, has not disappeared, and so today many little ones will receive on the 1st of December an Advent calendar. If it is self-made, they will find little gifts inside. Otherwise, usually they will find chocolate behind each of these 24 doors. And this already points a little bit to the aspect of commercialization. Because nowadays you can even purchase such a calendar for your dog. You would then find some, I don't know, dog cookies or whatever behind the doors. And of course, there are also like more adult-oriented calendars where you find little bottles of liquor behind the doors. And also in Germany you find sometimes entire houses decorated as Advent calendars with pictures behind the windows. So if the decorated tree symbolizes Christmas today, Santa Claus seems to be its incarnation. In Germany and in many other European countries, however, Santa is seen as something very American who was basically unknown in Europe until a comparatively short time ago. In reality, however, it was a European tradition that inspired the invention of Santa Claus, and that was the Bishop Nicholas of Myra, who, a saint in the 4th century, had a reputation to help the poor. The 6th of December is his commemoration day in many European countries, when he brings chocolates and sweets to the children. So on the evening of the 5th of December, the children put their boots or little plates in front of their doors, and in the next morning they will find little gifts, chocolates and sweets in them. Normally, and now this is something very traumatic for me, normally is accompanied by a rather diabolic-looking fellow called Knecht Ruprecht, servant Ruprecht, who is said to punish all those children who did not behave throughout the year. So I was completely afraid of him until a short time ago. This tradition actually then was imported to the United States in the 19th century by the Dutch community, where St. Nicholas is called Sinterklaas, who brings the presents on the 6th of December, and he then became Santa Claus in the United States, who appears 18 days later. The earliest American depictions were created by the cartoonist Thomas Nast and published in Harper's Weekly in the 1880s, and these pictures then were used for an advertisement campaign by Coca-Cola in the 1930s, who tried to promote their drink as a beverage for all seasons, not only for summer. This campaign contributed to the shape of our modern impression of Santa Claus as a jolly old man with a white beard and a red coat. In Europe, however, St. Nicholas is not the only gift bringer around Christmas. During the time of Reformation in the early 16th century, the Protestants wanted to end the Catholic practice of worshipping saints, and therefore the figure of a Christkind, a baby or mixture of a baby angel, angel and baby Jesus, was introduced, and as nowadays a very popular figuration of Christmas. And in most German families, it is now more popular than Santa Claus and brings the presents on the 24th of December. Usually at that time, when the Christmas tree is decorated, the children are not allowed to enter the room, and only after the tree has been decorated, the parents will ring a bell and the children are allowed to enter, and then often they hear that they're just a tiny bit too late as the Christkind has already gone. So the Christkind, or in other European countries, Christkind is arrival by other gift bringers. So in Russia and Eastern Europe, Father Frost brings the presents. In Portugal and Spain, the Three Magi. And in Italy, my personal favorite, Witch Befana, flies on the broomstick to bring presents and chocolates and sweets to the children on the 6th of January. So what seems to be the most important characteristic of our modern day Christmas, giving presents to the young ones especially, brings us also to the last essential part of the festive season in Germany, because without the well-established Christmas markets, Christmas in Germany would definitely lack one of its most crucial features. You would, in all the cities along your itinerary, you will find at least one Christmas market, and in the larger cities like, for example, in Cologne or Strasbourg, you would find several ones, especially around the old city center, with some of them are more traditional and sometimes are more modern. That is really a very important part of our Christmas celebrations today. Before the pandemic, there were around 2,500 Christmas markets in Germany with approximately 5 million visitors, and I think we will reach these numbers already again this year. And the largest Christmas market along the itinerary is the one at Cologne Cathedral, but this is not the oldest one, as this today would go to the Strasbourg Christmas market, which was first mentioned in 1570. Many Christmas markets intentionally present traditional goods only, so there's no plastic decoration, no merry-go-rounds, no tape music, and merchants will sell gingerbread, fruitcakes, Christmas decorations, nativity scenes, and other handcrafted goods and toys there. The German Lebkuchen, often not properly translated as gingerbread, as there's simply no ginger in it, is one of the main sweet food specialities around Christmas time. And its development dates back to the Middle Ages, when among the most valuable merchandise of these days was pepper, a generic term which describes an entire variety of exotic spices that reached this part of Europe via the long-distance trade routes from Asia. Therefore, the German Lebkuchen is sometimes still called pepper cake, even though it doesn't contain any pepper either. So now that you know what not to expect, what is it actually made of? So since you're here, I think you should go for the highest quality Lebkuchen, which is called Elisen Lebkuchen, made entirely without flour and containing only spices, dried fruits, nuts, and honey. The top is often glazed with sugar or chocolate, and as early as the 14th century, bakers exclusively made Lebkuchen. However, today most of them come from very big factories. Nevertheless, there are still some local bakeries who around Christmas time produce or bake their own Lebkuchen, often after very old family recipes. The traditional, or this is the most important part now, the traditional warm-up drink on the Christmas markets since the late 1950s was grog, hot rum. Since then, however, a new kind of drink has become people's favorite at Christmas markets all across the country, and this is Glühwein, mulled wine. And for a long time, every supplier had their own secret recipe, and the basis has always been red wine, cinnamon cloves, lemon peel, and sugar. So the liquid is heated but not boiled, because in that case, of course, the alcohol will evaporate, and that would be a shame, of course. And every year, many cities design their own cups in which the Glühwein is served, and many people like to collect them. And Nuremberg was the first city to introduce these cups, and many other markets soon followed their example. And even though there's a deposit on the cups, many people like to take them home as a souvenir. So now towards the end of my talk, I would like to touch one aspect of the festive season that we still have to look at, as it seems to be an essential part of Christmas today, that people are complaining more that gets commercialized more every year. Many people share the feeling that Christmas cookies and Lebkuchen are arriving at grocery stores and supermarkets a little bit earlier every year to grant the retailers an even higher revenue. In fact, however, they always arrive on the 1st of September, which indeed is quite early. A rather new discussion is focusing on the question of an authentic Christmas, including only pure and traditional elements, And a similar puristic approach is widely used against the increased presence of Halloween decoration in Germany, which was picked up by shop owners and teenagers only during the last couple of years. On a similar basis, critics questioned the figure of Santa Claus, who had never been part of the European tradition until only a comparatively short time ago. Especially religious initiatives are claiming that the only old guy with a beard should be St. Nicholas, the Bishop of Myra, who brings sweets to the children on the 6th of December. And therefore, a Catholic society offers a special chocolate Santa who can be clearly identified as the old bishop by features like the mithra and the traditional crozier. On the website, you can even order buttons demanding a Santa-free environment for the holiday season, and a similar purpose is also followed by an Austrian organization called Pro Christkind. They actually claim that the Christkind should be the only authentic Catholic figuration of Christmas. By now you know this is only half of the story, as the Christkind was originally used by Martin Luther and got only eventually adopted by the Catholic Church later. So it seems that the discussion on how Christmas is supposed to be celebrated properly is subject to the actual zeitgeist, reflecting the change of cultural customs and habits through the course of time. The same points of criticism appear rather timeless. They are basically as old as the festivity itself. The best example is the claim of too much commercial exploitation. So many people seem to feel that this is getting worse every year. However, this becomes less sure if we look at a note from 1616 left by the parish priest Wolfgang Lüder of Nuremberg St. Sebald's Church, located right around the corner of the main market square in Nuremberg, where the famous Christkindl market is held. More than 400 years ago, he wrote in the church's diary on the 4th Sunday of December, shortly before Christmas, and I quote him now, "Tonight I had to cancel Mass. The reason was that nobody was there. They'd all gone out to do shopping for the children." End quote. So obviously, modern times are not always as different to the past as it may appear to us today. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, are there any questions which you would like to ask? I think we're not docked, so I still have some time left. Which of course never means you have to ask me anything. You're not at school here, so. All right, if there are no questions, then I can only wish you a great journey, or rest of your journey, and I hope the weather stays as sunny as it is. It's a little bit cold, but at least it's sunny. And I wish you already, of course, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year soon. Thank you very much again. Thank you.
So on the upper deck, the 3rd floor, at the end back here is the lounge. We're gonna head back there and have some coffee and some biscuits or some cookies. Doubt it. Jody's not a big game player. They got it all decorated up back here nice. Christmassy. We're almost there. This is the Club Lounge. And back here, they have vitamin water. They have apple juice, they have unsweetened iced tea, they have butter vanilla cookies, they have raw mixed nuts and dried fruit, and dark chocolate hazelnut cookies, and this baby. Cafe latte macchiato.
It's awesome.
chocolate espresso, cream, cafe cream, decaf, all kinds of different things. They got an ice machine back here. You can get water just by pressing the water button right there. Got honey and sweeteners and all kinds of stuff back here. So over here you can see where you are on the big board here. You can see your speed, so we're going 19.8 knots, meters an hour, nautical meters an hour, 19.8 nautical meters an hour. What time it is, your course, your heading. And there's all the games Kelly was talking about. Books to read, games to play.
Kelly and I are going to play a quick
And of
game
course,
of Scrabble,
Christmas.
or maybe two, and then we're going to head off to our last dinner. So we're going to celebrate all the great services.
So I have received a lot of very, very kind words in regards to the team, in regards to myself, but let me tell you, no manager is anything without a great team. I am very, very fortunate this year. Some of these beautiful boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I've worked with from the very beginning, from March. Some of them joined just the winter season, but let me tell you, this is one exceptional collective. Because the hardest part of this job, ladies and gentlemen, is not the job itself. We love hospitality, as you probably have noticed. Every single one of us cares, every single one of us loves our people. But what is the hardest part is to do the same thing over and over and over again with the same level of enthusiasm. So this part, I am very proud to say, is done impeccably. So guests from cruise number 1 and guests from cruise number 33 are treated exactly the same way. Exactly the same way we take care of them, exactly the same way we love them. And that is extraordinary because I haven't met it that much in my life. So thank you once again, my extraordinary team. I would like to introduce every single crew member, and let me tell you, our team, our Avalon Panorama functions like a little kingdom. So the first in line I would like you to meet, the man of the throne, the king of the castle, King Father Shaban and his team. Santos. And every single kingdom must have a very, very steady base. The base of our kingdom holds in 2 pairs of hands, because every single piece of cutlery, every single plate, every single glass goes only through 2 pairs of hands. They are washed on a daily basis, at least 4 times a day, only by 2 boys. These very strong men, Saul and Igor. And of course, the one who's been taking care of me together with her knights is of course our beautiful Queen Mother, the Maitre d' Marcella, and her knights. And as you already know from my introduction at the very beginning, you have a fairy godmother in our kingdom, the one who's been taking care of your comfort and, of course, cleanliness. our incredible housekeeper, the godmother Katarina and her pixies. And every single kingdom by all means must have a tad bit of magic. So the magic of our kingdom is very jolly spirits, which coincidentally are in charge of spirits. So I give you a incredible party with shields of our warriors. If I would be the princess of this castle, then by all means we have to have Prince Charming. He will be very happy to take all your money tomorrow, but that is tomorrow. So the Prince Charming of this castle, Marius, the senior receptionist. And ladies and gentlemen, let me let you in on a little house kept secret. So of course every single kingdom of Avalon can exist on our own. You know, we're very self-sufficient, we know what we're doing, we take care of our people, we keep on coming back to us. However, we must have a little bit of external help, a little bit of external magic. And we have all sorts of magical creatures coming to visit us. We have fairies, we have dragons, we have houses, we have mermaids, you name it, we have it. However, this time, and I hope you all agree with me, we have been truly blessed by the Sorcerer Supreme. The one who's made impossible possible. The one who's been there every single day for you, changing beautifully his outfit. Making you smile, making you laugh, very happy. And he is a very, very good friend of mine, and it is a true joy to have been working with him specifically for the last 2 weeks. I give it to you, the Sorcerer Supreme, Robert.
Thank you very much. So, I would like to thank all the wonderful crewmen of MS Avalon Panorama, not only those who we get to know a lot, but everyone working very hard behind the scenes. So, thank you very much, crew. Thanks to our captain for bringing us so far success. So, thank you, captain. He's working. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, in not too distant past, when women did all the work and men took all the credit, there was this saying that behind every halfway successful man there's at least one smart woman. So now we give the credit where the credit's due, and of course women to the front, no longer behind the men. So ladies and gentlemen, big thanks to Christina. All the hard work that to make all of this work, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, and of course it was a pleasure working with you, as always, as it has been for all these years. So thank you, my dear. Thank you very much. And in the end, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank all of you for not being troublemakers. Only hope that you enjoyed being here with us as much as we all enjoyed being here with you. And well, I never said this before, so I'm only going to tell that to you. You are the best group I ever had.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now to the most important part, desserts.
Okay, so we traveled to Amsterdam overnight, and we are getting on the Amsterdam canal boat trips. This is one of the included excursions. So
Because
enjoy.
we block the sea with the enclosure dye. So basically, if you briefly look at my hand, the shape is like this. The beautiful church, that's the southern church. And that's the nice view that Claude Monet also eternalized in summer and in winter once he was visiting Amsterdam. He was married to a Dutch lady, and so we have a lot of Dutch paintings of Claude Monet, windmills, not countryside, but also city life. Now, coming back to freedom of trade, it brought us different nationalities, and it was possible to build synagogues, visible, not the Hebrew and in the Dutch, for those victims of the Second World War, thinking of all these nationalities since the 17th century. They had no basically common language. It's a mixture of all different languages. That's why we have that harsh. And it was called Dietz, not Deutsch, Dietz, D-I-E-T-S.
Okay, and what you've been waiting for, the diamond polishing area and the diamond factory tour. This is again an included excursion. It takes approximately 2 days to polish a diamond these days, which is actually very fast. Back in the day, when we didn't have these sorts of hydraulic and electric polishing wheels, we had hand-based polishing. So it used to take months, sometimes, and years to polish diamonds to get them to the clarity and the shape and size that you want. So things have come a long way. Now it takes about 2 days to polish every diamond, whether it's a 1/8 carat or a 2 carat diamond. Quite the labor-intensive act here. One of the latest trends is to have the bride or the person buying the diamond to pick the diamond separately from the setting. That way I think they can value up the various settings that you might have your diamond placed into, and they can sell them to you separately and potentially make more money on the diamond separately from the actual setting itself. But that's just my theory. One of the really coolest things here is you're going to get to see the differences in the diamond clarity, color, and cut, where they will provide you different diamonds to view and look at that have different clarity levels and different cuts. And there is a completely visible difference between these diamonds that they're going to show you. This was really interesting and I think really informative if you're out in the business of shopping for diamonds. Okay guys, so we're bringing this trip to an end. We are at our last day in Amsterdam. We've done the diamond tour. We're going back to the ship now and we're going to pack our bags. We're going to stay overnight, and then tomorrow morning early, we're going to stay overnight in Amsterdam, and then early tomorrow morning we're going to head out. The ship has arranged taxis for us to get us to where we need to go when we need to get there. And we got into the airport quick and easy. The ship actually recommended leaving about 3.5 hours prior to our trip, but we got right into the airport. We actually had a couple hours to sit around at the airport and do some shopping at the airport. There is more Christmas stuff and more shops in the airport, so be ready for that. And with that, we'll leave you with the real reason for this season, and reminded that we're grateful as we see 2022 come to an end. It's been quite a challenging year for many people, and this is just some enjoyment and some enlightenment that there is an end to 2022 and a fresh start and a new beginning to 2023. So from us here, Kelly and I, with Only Have One Life to Live, we encourage you to get out and start doing what you can do now with what you have. Enjoy life. There's no time to put off till tomorrow, because today is the day to start doing something new. Just get a plan for it and start executing that plan. And from us here, again, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, and we look forward to 2023 with all of you. Best wishes for 2023.